Hello, good morning, everybody. This is Shahina from the admissions department. Welcome everyone from lots of places in different parts of the world. We would like to welcome you today to the UKVI admissions update webinar. We did have one about 8-9 weeks ago. That was our first webinar, and I'm aware that quite a few of you would have been there, and today we're going to give you a bit further update with regards to compliance as well as admissions and UKVI points. However, what I'd like to do is I'd like to first introduce my colleague Oceane, who's going to do the first part of the webinar, and then myself will continue with the second part, and we will take questions at the end. Can I remind everyone to mute their microphone, and if you have questions along the way, do type them in the chat box. We will answer them at the end. Can everybody see the screen at the moment, the PowerPoint? Hi, Oceane, can you hear me?
Hi, Shahina.
Hello, sorry, I think we were having some technical problem. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, I think we can go ahead and start.
Yeah. Are you able to access the screen now? All good?
I believe I can. Okay, I'm just requesting it now. It's waiting for approval.
I've allowed it already.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yes, it's all good. It's working now.
Perfect.
So good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's keeping safe and well. If you just bear with me 1 second. My neighbors have been a bit noisy, so I just closed the window so you can hear me properly. So apologies for that. So I hope everyone's well. My name is Oceane, and I'm the head of visa compliance at MPW, for those who don't know me. I will start with a few UKVI updates on Tier 4 student visas mainly. So if I may start. I'm afraid that I cannot. Shahina, would you mind going ahead and just skipping the slides for me?
Shall I stop sharing and you want to share the document instead?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Here we are. Can everyone see?
I do apologize for the delay.
Can everyone see my screen? I believe that now is working.
I can, yeah.
Perfect. So one of the main concerns regarding the current situation is mainly about the secure English language tests. So thankfully, the UKVI has approved 2 more CELTs, which are PTE and the language cert. So I don't know if you've heard of them. If you haven't, obviously a lot of their centers are still closed, but they're now approved by the UKVI, which is good news considering that a lot of IELTS centers are still closed. And obviously they will be very busy when they reopen, since a lot of students would need a UKVI IELTS. I just want to remind you that those students who need an IELTS are those who are generally over 18 or applying for a foundation course. If you want any more information regarding which centers are open in which cities, I would suggest that you go onto each of their websites so you can see the link for the IELTS for UKVI, the PT Academic UKVI, and the Language Cert International ESO. Obviously, you can simply type in your browser IELTS for UKVI, COVID-19 information, etc., and you'll be able to just access, and it will show you a list of all the cities and which centers are open or which centers are temporarily closed. If there's any updates, this is where you'll find it. Unfortunately, the UKVI has not accepted any other kind of English assessment at the moment. So this is the only solution we've got, but hopefully the centers will start reopening soon. Now, if I go on transfers. So as you may know, all students on a Tier 4 child visa can switch courses within the UK if their visas is still valid. So usually for students who are, let's say, on a GCSE course, their visa will currently expire in October 2020 because of the extra months that the UKVI adds afterwards. So for those students who are willing to switch within the UK, they can apply for another Tier 4 child or another Tier 4 general visa, as per the Tier 4 policy guidance. There's a new provision that the UKVI has put in place, is that you are able to switch visas within the UK, even if you weren't able to do so generally. So let's take an example. So if generally students who are on a foundation course, because foundation courses are shorter, their visa will expire in July. Those students on the Tier 4 general visa for foundation course will be able to reapply within the UK, even though they weren't able to do so before because of academic progression, etc. So now for students who have a leave expiring before the 31st of July, they are able to submit an application in the UK and renew their visa then. Obviously, nothing will change. You need to meet, the student will need to meet the requirements of the routes they're applying for, the UK application fee, and they can apply online and wait for the decision to come and start the lessons as soon as they've submitted their application. So this is also valid for students going on to university. So if they were on a course that ends in July and their visa expires, they can request from their university to get a new CAS before the expiry of their current visa, so they can reapply within the UK before their current visa expires. So that's quite good news. In regards to CASs, I know a lot of you are eager for us to start issuing them. So what I will be doing, the Compliance Department of MPW will start issuing the draft CAS for reviews by the families and agents this month. And we would like to start issuing final CASs not until July. This is because a CAS is valid for 6 months, and we want to avoid CASs to expire for students who aren't able to come to us until, let's say, January. So if I don't issue them until July, that would allow us to have a CAS valid until January. And for students who are not able to travel currently or in September and can only join us for the January term, then their CAS will still be valid and they'll be able to apply with that same CAS for their visas. However, we'll be evaluating on a case-by-case basis. So if a CAS can be issued earlier than July, depending on the current state of the country and flights availability, then we'll be able to issue it earlier, let's say end of June rather than July. But this, again, we'll have to be evaluating on a case-by-case basis. In regards to transcripts and reports, I know how hard it's been to manage to get a stamp or a signature from some schools because a lot of them are closed, aren't reopening until September, and even their administrations department, if they're working remotely, don't have access to a lot of documents potentially. But however, again, as per the Tier 4 guidance, any transcripts or reports from the 2019-2020 academic year are accepted as long as they're stamped or signed with the logo of the school, something official. And any report from the first term last year, so from September, this is also widely accepted, so there's no issue there. There is no further guidance as to whether the UKVI will accept non-signed or non-stamped transcripts. So for now, we keep on we need to keep on trying and provide reports and transcripts and grades that show the stamp of the school, the signature of the head of the school, the principal. However, students who are able to apply online for their Tier 4 visa application from overseas are now able to submit copies of their academic documents rather than sending originals, which is much more handy, as they don't have to send the documents. They can simply scan those originals and attach them to their visa application. This is mainly for, this doesn't really concern students from low-risk countries, as those kind of documents, such as academic transcripts, even maintenance is not, so the financial documents are not required for those low-risk applicants. I would always suggest to have these documents ready, because the UKVI reserves itself the right to request them. But for any other student who would need to submit the documents, that's very good news that they can submit copies and they don't have to send the originals. Now, I just wanted to remind you the time limit basics. We never talk about it enough, but you might already know this. So if a student is under 18, there's no limit on the Tier 4 leave. So for Tier 4 child visa students, there is no limit. Up until their 18th birthday, the student can spend up to 2 years on a Tier 4 child student visa or Tier 4 general student visa. This time limit applies whether they apply for a Tier 4 general student leave inside or outside the UK. Time they've spent studying on any other type of immigration permission is not counted, such as short-term study visas, etc. So again, there is this coronavirus immigration helpline available. If you have any particular question that they could help you with, feel free to call them. You can also type this in your browser, and you'll find their telephone number and their email address. So this is everything for UKVI updates from me. I will now leave Shahina to give you an update on international admissions. So I will stop sharing my document. Here we go, Shahina.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Can you see this, Ocean?
Yes, everything's fine.
Great. All right, well, welcome again, everybody. And I just want to give you a quick update, first of all, on how the online teaching has been taking place at the schools. The last time we had the webinar, we had just been starting our online tuition for a couple of weeks, and they were quite successful at the time. And now having had a full term of online teaching, it's been a great success, and last week the schools have submitted grades to the exam boards as well. So that's been going very, very well, and feedback has been very good from tutors, students, parents as well. And hopefully it will carry on depending on how things take place in September as well. I will elaborate a little bit more about that during my slides. First of all, I'd like to start with the September 2020 applications, which are still remain open for all the courses that we offer, which are the 2-year GCSE program, the 1-year GCSE, the 2-year and 1-year A-level course. We've also got the University of London International Foundation program, which is offered in London, the NC UK International Program, Foundation program, which is offered in Cambridge and Birmingham. and the MPW University Foundation Programme in the London campus as well. For all the courses, applications are made online, and we are conducting interviews all online via MS Teams or Skype. We are also arranging all the tests necessary where applicable for application, which are done under strict supervision online from admissions department and the students, as we are aware that in most countries at the moment, the students are still not able to visit the agent's office to sit any tests or conduct any interviews at this point. So if you do wish to apply, please do either contact your account manager, or you can contact send an email to the international@mpw.ac.uk inbox, and we will advise you accordingly. You can also go to the website. I'll give you some more information towards the end of the slides with all the email addresses that you do require. Now, in terms of the application process, as I mentioned just now, if you do have an account manager, you contact your account manager to with the student's inquiry, and they will advise you and explain the steps accordingly. Alternatively, you can email us at international@mpw.ac.uk, which I've got noted down here, and the webinar presentation will be shared with you as well, so you will have that information. Once we've received the application, where we will also need to receive the school documents for the students, such as their reports, or if they have any results or transcript, we'll need those documents plus their passport copy to be able to arrange the interview or an admissions call, which then follows with an offer letter. Where a test is required, you will be advised, and the student will make a necessary arrangement for the student as well, for them to sit the test, as I said, all online under strict supervision. And once the offer is made, the students or the family has got a 4-window period to make a decision on to whether they would wish to accept or not. Having said that, coming nearer to September, that deadline, so the window period would most likely be reduced to 2 weeks when it gets to August time, but that's something to bear in mind due to the fact that they need to apply for visas and arrive in the country as well. So that's the application process. Now, in terms of arriving in the UK this year, the autumn starts. The start date for the term will be Wednesday, the 9th of September for the London campus, and for Birmingham and Cambridge, it's Tuesday, the 8th of September. Now, with induction days for new students, they need to arrive before then and be here for the induction on Friday, the 4th of September. And in addition to that, due to the UK government guidance, currently there is a 14-day quarantine rule applying. Now, as to whether this will still be in effect when it gets to August, September time, this is not confirmed, but we will give you more information about that at a later date. As of today, it is that students will need to be quarantined upon arrival, which means that they will need to arrive in the UK at their registered UK address no later than the 23rd of August. But as I said, that's the information correct as of today, but that may much subject to change. We will get you more information later on with regards to that. The second. In terms of students, understandably, that will arrive late due to potentially visa delays and a number of other things. What will happen for them is, first of all, please do communicate with us and do inform us how your students' applications are going when they do plan to arrive in the UK. If they're having any concerns, queries, any delays, any issues, please do keep the communication going between us ourselves. So you can, I've been emailing a number of agents, so you can email me, do email your account manager and inform them of the students' progress as well. Now, for those who will be arriving late, understandably, they will obviously be missing some lessons, but what MPW aims to provide is a sort of hybrid model where there'll be a blend of online and on-campus learning, teaching, and also offering support services. What that means is, as I explained, we've been having full online teaching since the 17th, 18th of March now. So we will offer the same sort of teaching, but in addition to that, there will also be on-campus teach classes taking place. So there'll be face-to-face classes as well. And for those arriving late, they will immaterial of the date they arrive, they will still need to do the quarantine if that is in place, but they will be able to attend their lesson online whilst being quarantined until they have they're able to come into lessons. That's the potential plan at the moment, and it's the information we have as of today, but this is subject to change. More information will be available later in July once we have more concrete plans. That hybrid model will be delivered to students who are unable to join as well, at least through to January, but yet again, we cannot confirm any of that until later in July. The on-campus, so all the teaching that takes place within the schools will be done with a lot of careful planning, and number of steps and measures will be in place to ensure that we're abiding to the government social distancing guideline, as well as having all the hygiene and hand sanitizers, list of things that will be available. All this information will be provided to all of you at a later date in July. As I mentioned, it is very important that you keep in touch with us and inform us on how your students are doing and what their plans are, so that we can support you guys as best we can. So that's the information with regards to the late arrivals. Now, with the accommodation, KSS is still taking bookings. They still have a number of options available. Do refer to their website, which is available here. You can also email us at international@npw, and we can give you more information or contact your account manager. Within the halls of residence, all the KSS hall of residence, strict measures are being put in place, so they will be they will have to follow the government guidelines as well. In terms of students who are staying at the KSS Hall of Residence, they are all within walking distance from school mostly, and so students will hopefully not need to take public transport unless they have private living arrangement that they've done, which is not walking distance to the school. If you do have any queries with regards to the accommodation, again, you can check their website, or you can contact us. Your account manager or the international inbox. That's the end of it. So we've covered most of the things that we needed to. Does anyone have any questions with regards to any of the compliance, UKVI, or admissions, different topics that we've raised today?
If I may just answer Isabella's question. So when are the summer term reports for A2 students sent to parents this year? I've just had a notification that they will be sent on Wednesday next week, because the last day of term is this Friday, so they'll start sending them out the week after this one.
Okay. Do we have any more questions?
In regards to accommodation, for Marina, maybe you can answer that one, Shahina.
Just a second, I'm scrolling to. So Marina, your question is, will the students need to pay for the extra week of accommodation because of the 14-day quarantine? I'm going to have to get back to you on that, Marina. My thinking is they would have to, but I cannot confirm that until I've checked with you. I will get back to you on that immediately after the webinar so that I can give you an answer. What I will also do is include that in the webinar slides so that everybody else do get the answer for that questions. And next one is...
Yes, I might take this one, Shahina. So the question of Anya. Hi, Anya. So when a student applies for their visa, is that correct that students don't need to submit an IELTS if they're transferring from a Tier 4 child to a general? And that's correct, indeed. So if you have any students switching from a Tier 4 child to a Tier 4 general student visa, they won't need to show an English language test. So that makes things much easier, actually. So if you have any students transferring this way, yes. No problem. Does anyone else have any other questions or need any clarification on anything?
I don't seem to think. Shall we give it a few more minutes?
Yes,
Meanwhile,
sure.
what I'd like to tell everybody is for the rest of this week, we have a few more events happening online. Today we have, for those who are interested with the London campus, we have the MPW Open Day, which starts at 11, which is in the next 30 minutes. To join the chat room, I'm sending you the, Ocean, do you have that or shall I?
No, I will be sharing the link in a second.
So you'll be getting the link for the open day in the chat room. So if you do want to join, please go ahead and do so. It might give you a good insight of the college, of being able to speak to the director of studies, of admissions, as well as the principal will be there and some students too. On Thursday morning at 11 a.m. UK time, there's an introduction to the GCSE school at MPW by the head of GCSE, Maya Waterstone, who's based in London campus. If you do want to register to join that, the link is coming through in the chat room as well. And the last one for this week is the we have a virtual quiz with James Barton and all the MPW principals in the different schools, and that's on Friday the 12th at 10 a.m. UK time. It would be quite fun. It's the last webinar we're running for this term, so it'll be very interesting and fun as well. So it'd be useful if we have lots of people joining in and participating, more importantly. So we'll all be there. Hopefully, it'd be like an end of term party. Whilst I'm at that, Marina, if you check the inbox, Chris has actually responded to your question. So I'm looking for the question now so that I can read it out again.
It was whether the students would have to pay for the 14-day quarantine.
Yes, exactly. So the answer to that, Marina, is KSS is working out a cost for a full board quarantine period. This will have a small cost to it, plus a cost for an extra few days for the accommodation beyond our usual contract lengths. Marina, I hope that answers your question, and anyone else who had a question would be able to get the answer, but it's in the chat box as well. Let's see if we have any more questions.
Yes, I have one in regards to the TB tests. So that's a very good point. So Anya, if the student is still in the UK, they don't need to submit a TB certificate when they apply for their visa. And that's correct, because you do not need to be tested if you've lived for at least 6 months in a country where TB screening is not required by the UK, and obviously it's not required in the UK. And you've been away from that country for no more than 6 months. So unless your student has been away for more than 6 months, they won't need to be tested again. I hope that answers your question. You're welcome.
Great. And I'm also sharing the email addresses for the email address rather of the international inbox, which is international@npw.co.uk. I have access to that, and yeah, any queries you have, do send them through, and I will respond or forward it to the right person to come back to you and direct you to the right person as well. So
yes, if you have any compliance visa questions, feel free to also email that address, and Shahina will forward any queries to me.
Well, looks like we haven't got any more questions. So unless anyone have any more questions, do shout out now. Otherwise, it's a great pleasure, and thank you from us for joining and for being here and listening, and for your support and participation throughout all the webinars as well.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's been a pleasure to host a webinar for you. And yes, again, any questions, just email us. And for now, I think that's it for today. Don't forget to try and join the open day if you're interested. The link is in the chat box. I've shared it earlier.
Great. Have a lovely day, everybody. Or lovely
Bye, everyone.
evening, wherever
Thank you
you are.
so much.
Bye.